Jags Nation. This is the Action Sports Jax postgame show, sponsored by Farah & Farah, the exclusive injury law firm of the Jaguars.
There is no joy at the bank. The Jaguars. Oof. What did we just watch? Hi, everybody. Hicken here. It's dark. It's damp. It's cold. It was football weather before the game. Now it's depressing. The sun will rise again tomorrow, but it doesn't seem like that. What an awful performance by the Jags. I can't sugarcoat this one. It was an ass beating. I don't like to say that on Facebook, but it was an ass beating. The Jaguars did not match the Niners at all, not in terms of physicality, not in terms of in the trenches, not in terms of quarterback play, not in terms of winning the turnover battle. In every way, shape, or form, San Francisco took it to Jacksonville today. They were a hungrier team, they were an angrier team, and they beat the Jaguars' butts today, 34-3 here at the bank. Talk about 5 good weeks of poof going up in the air. That's kind of what happened today. And the streak is over. They'll have to start another one. I can't wait to hear from Doug Pederson and hear what he has to say, because I suspect it will sound something familiar to what he said after the Detroit game a year ago. But this one happened at home, and I don't think good teams, great teams, in fact, I know great teams don't get beat like the Jaguars got beat at home. You may throw up a stinker every now and then. It's the NFL, I get it. But here at home to do that, no bueno, man. No bueno. And we said in the pregame show, the thing about the Niners is their defense will strike you. And we didn't strike back at all. And our quarterback didn't play well. Brock Purdy played better than Trevor did today. So I'm not saying he's a better quarterback. I'm saying today, Brock Purdy was the better quarterback. You see the numbers. You see what he was able to accomplish. So hats off to him. Hats off to the way that the Niners played. Purdy had, what, Liv, over 300 yards or right at 300 yards passing? 296. Trevor turned the ball over 3 times. We turned the ball over 4 times. If we throw the ball to Tank Bigsby one more time this year, I'm going to lose my mind and pull my hair out. However, that one wasn't all Tank Bigsby's fault. That's on Trevor, too. Again, just an awful performance. And, you know, they talked all week about getting their edge back. They never got their edge back. They did not get their edge back. The offensive line, 5 sacks on Trevor, was awful. Walker Little, and I'm not an expert, so I'll leave this to the other guys that I talk to. But just from me watching, Walker Little, failed experiment at left guard. Maybe he goes to right tackle. I don't know, but it's only one game, but it was terrible. Bosa, the interior, Armstead, Hargrave, you name it. The Niners, Cleveland Farrell, the backup guys, they all got after Trevor today. Nowhere to run. Nothing worked. When we finally got it to, what was it, 20-3 when Christian Kirk fumbled right over here on about the 5-yard line. And by the way, even that play we botched, and it would have been an interception return for a touchdown. However, and thank goodness, the Niner players came onto the field, so they got a penalty. It was bad all the way around. Calvin Ridley, we can't get him the football. I don't know what to say. It was not good. And the Jaguars now lose. Liv, do you have an update on the Houston game against Cincinnati? Houston won. So it's now a 1-game lead. Cincinnati came all the way back from 10 down to tie them, but guess what C.J. Stroud did? Bip, 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 down the field, field goal. Houston wins. Houston's legit because of C.J. Stroud, and we're going to have our hands full. We're back on focusing on the South and not focusing on a seed now, right? We got to figure out a way to win the AFC South, and hopefully we will. We get the Titans here next week. It really becomes a must-win situation in a lot of ways, just because of the way they played today. It was terrible. It started up front in the trenches, both sides. The defense, they weren't good. All right, they got 2 sacks today, both by Oluokun. So they got 18 on the year. I'll tell you one thing I didn't like by San Francisco, just my opinion, but Christian McCaffrey had a record and was going after an NFL record of 18 straight games of scoring a touchdown. He didn't have one, and there was no reason for him to be playing. And they put him back in the ball on a goal-to-go situation down here at the 10-yard line. So, and they gave him the ball 4 straight times. Jags held him out, which is good, but I thought that was kind of Bush League by Shanahan personally. But again, you may say, well, it's a Jags job to stop him, and they did, so he didn't get the record anyway. So it is what it is. But I didn't like that. That didn't sit well with me. But to the victors go the spoils, and that's the San Francisco 49ers who snapped their 3-game losing streak. Man, oh, man. Purdy could do whatever he wants. Here's the one thing I noticed about Purdy versus Lawrence, and you can tell this. Brock Purdy trusts his pocket, and he has a better pocket than Trevor, but he trusts it. Like he waits and waits and waits to the last second, okay? He threw one from this hash all the way across the field. He doesn't have a strong arm, and Ayuk was so open, our guys couldn't even get to the ball to knock it down. Trevor will get back to pass, and somebody's breaking through on him, and he's got to try to spin and get his way out of mess. So not sticking up for Trevor. I didn't think he played well at all today, but sticking up for Trevor in that respect. Offensive line's got some problems, and I'll tell you something else. From the top, the Niners were active at the trade deadline. They went and got Chase Young. He didn't do anything today, but I don't remember seeing him. Maybe he made a play or two. I don't remember for sure. But the Jaguars didn't do anything. They got a backup on the offensive line who may help them down the road, but man, oh man, I don't know. Is this team good enough? Not today. And now the question, I think, is can they be physical enough? And listen, NFL players don't like to hear this, but very finesse, right? Can they be physical enough to beat the San Francisco 49ers or the Philadelphia Eagles? You know, the Chiefs are kind of a finesse team, right? The Ravens are a more physical team. That's another team that might give the Jaguars some problems, although they're battling 31-30 with just a few seconds to go, and it looks like, does Cleveland have a chance here to kick a game-winning field goal? Yeah, Cleveland is going to have a chance to beat Baltimore in Baltimore. There's 3 seconds left, and Dustin Hopkins, who missed a point after to tie it, will try to hit a game-winning field goal, so we'll see how that goes. He made it? Oh, he made it. I'm on delay here then because I'm – oh, wait, there's a flag on the play. See, Liv's giving me the play-by-play here, so we got that going for us. Anyway – the bottom line is this. We're awaiting Doug Pederson. I'm very curious to hear what he has to say today about this performance by the Jags, who with the loss fall to 6-3. Note Houston now 5-4 with their victory in Cincinnati. The Texans are for real, gang. The Texans are for real, and we're looking at the AFC South standings. We're going to have to figure this out, all right? We're going to have to go. Next week is doubly huge. Divisional game at home. The Jags here in Jacksonville are 1-3, technically 2-3 at home, but 1-3 at the bank. And in 2 different games, am I right here? And the offense didn't score a touchdown? I think there's been 2 games where the offense hasn't scored a touchdown. That makes no sense. This offense has got to figure things out. We're 9 games. We're too far into this season to have an offense scoring 3 points. It's over. The Browns have beaten the Ravens and let the AFC North beat each other up. The Steelers, by the way, beat the Packers by 4 points. So the Steelers are 6-3. The Ravens are 6-3. The Chiefs are 6-2 and on a bye, and Travis Kelce's in Argentina. So I don't know what to tell you. It's a crazy NFL season. But we'll figure all that out later. We got to focus on fixing this. What'd you say? Pederson's up? Oh. Oh, okay. All right. We're gathering sound right now, so we're waiting on that. We have Foye Oluokun. All right, let's listen in with Brent and Foye Oluokun.
We didn't execute. They came out, was able to establish the run, do the boots, all the misdirection and stuff, reverses to 19 and all that. Kind of knew that's what they were going to do, but I think the first couple of drives we really got to establish ourselves so we can play a lot slower, or mentally a lot slower. When you're second guess against that team, it's going to be a long day. So, go back to the drawing board, really correct what we need to correct, but I'm ready to get back to work. We know the type of team that we're capable of being.
Is this an eye-opener for you guys?
Not an eye-opener. We know the type of team we're capable of being. I was telling them boys late in the fourth, thank God it happened. We ready to go. We should have been ready to go from the bye, but, NFL will humble you. NFL will humble you. Went on a little run early. It's about how you finish the season. Let's finish the right way, starting off with tomorrow.
Is it good news that last year after Detroit and this year after Houston, you guys bounced back and played your best football? Why do you think you guys have been able to do that?
Backs against the wall, we fight. That's not the type of football team that we want to be right there. So let's start fighting. Let's start working to be better. Good opponent coming in next week. I'm ready to work.
You said, thank God it happened.
I didn't want it to happen, but, blessings for everything. Let's learn from it.
Do you feel like guys weren't ready to play today?
I think we had a good week of practice, but I'm telling you, every week it's week to week, the energy you bring to the game. When you think that stuff just expects to happen just because you practiced it, you got to bring the right energy to the game and go out and make those plays happen for yourself.
Do things like this refocus you or the whole group? Because Houston now wins again. They're right on your heels too.
We got nothing to do in this locker room but get closer and work. Long season, we got to work to win every week to week business. We got another product to put on tape next week.
First down, I think they averaged almost 7 or 8 yards a play.
It was a lot.
Just not executing there, or just things they were doing.
Really not executing. They're going to do a lot of eye candy and stuff, but you got to be where you're supposed to be at every play. They're going to find a little matchup that they might like, but if we're in the right spots, let's execute our play after that.
Why do you think you guys haven't played well at home this year? The 2 blowouts. The reason.
I really can't put my finger on it. Just handle it. I know on the road we get closer just because we ain't got nowhere else to be. So let's handle all, maybe eliminate distractions. But I know as a team we're pretty focused as a team. There's nothing to do in outside in Jacksonville and stuff. So just come together as a team wherever we are and let's play.
Play indeed. Foye's right. It is a week-to-week league, but this week the midterm exam is a big fat F for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And, you can't paint a good picture at all. There are no positives to take away from this game, hopefully, unless they're healthy. So that would be the only thing I would think that would be, a positive. Agnew, I think, got nicked up, and Tyson Campbell might have redone his hamstring. That didn't look good. So if Tyson Campbell's out again, and, man, you got to let those hamstrings heal. They got to heal, and I know that they okayed it, and they felt like he was healed up. But, it takes 6 weeks, man, and you got to let those things heal up. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but that'll be a big loss as well. Jaguars got a lot of work to do, man. A lot of work to do. No pressure at all. Purdy with a great pocket. Throwing to guys, the tight end, George Kittle getting a touchdown. They let him run. They let him throw. So the defense was not good. The offense was horrid, putrid, awful. I don't know what to say about this offense, man. I don't know what to say. There's no more excuses to be making for these guys. They're too good, And I thought, the passing game goes as Christian Kirk goes. Christian Kirk had 6 for 104 today, I believe. But he lost a key fumble. So that's good, but they cannot get Ridley untracked. They got to figure this thing out, man. Evan Ingram, you know what they don't attack? They don't attack the seams down the middle of the field, it seems to me. We work the edges, but we don't go down the middle of the field. The ground, they took away the run, and that makes things doubly hard. And again, up front, it was a disaster, an epic fail. So you heard Foye Oluokun. The good news, it's a week-to-week league. It's just one loss. They had won 5 in a row, but everything got tighter in the AFC South again. You want to talk about 6-3? You got to talk about 5-4 Houston, 5-5 Indy, who won today as well. Okay, Tennessee did lose, so they're in the bottom of the barrel, but they're now making a transition to their young quarterback, and we'll see what happens with them. But Derrick Henry's coming to town, gang, and so the Jags know what he's done to this franchise for the last 5 years, so they better figure that out and figure it out quick. I expect them to come back and play a better football game next week, but we shall see. Jaguars lose 34-3 to San Francisco. They improved to 6-3. Jags fall to 6-3. Liv had the linebackers up before. I think it was Greenlaw and Warner. They were better than our guys today. Again, they won every matchup. I mean, any comparison you want to make, any way you want to look at it, the Niners were better. Now, it's interesting that it's 4:31. The game ended quite some time ago, and we're still waiting. Doug Pederson, is that correct, Liv? Still waiting for Doug Pederson and waiting to hear from him. So he's taking some extra time. I would have thought it would have been a quicker deal today. And like, look, we got our butts kicked. There's not much else to say. Guys, we got to get after it. We got to work harder. We got to prepare better. And I'll be curious to hear what he says to the media. Like I said, last year after Detroit, and that was later on in the season, he talked about, hey, don't panic. We're a good team. We know we're a good team. And I think the message to the media will be very similar when he gets to the podium today. That, wait a second, now it's just one game. We had just won 5 in a row. We beat some good football teams along the way. But the Niners are one of the elite teams of the NFL. And they're, most people would tell you that the Niners and the Eagles are the 2 teams that will vie for the Super Bowl from the National Football Conference. And they came into our house and they beat us. By the way, one other thing I want to talk about. The Niners fans showed up, and that's going to happen wherever they go. So people get mad, and I get a lot of it on Twitter, like, I can't believe this. I can't believe it's a sea of red. First off, there's a good amount of Niner fans here. But you know what? I saw them play at Pittsburgh, and there were a good amount of Niners fans there. I just like the full house. I like the atmosphere. And as long as the Jag fans outnumber the Niners fans, which we did in huge numbers, we'll be okay. So let's listen in on Doug Pederson. Now, interesting comments, I think, coming up from him. Let's see his explanation of today's debacle.
Why do you think the team wasn't ready today? Anything you can put your finger on?
I thought the team was ready. We failed to execute on the opening drive defensively, and we failed to execute on the opening drive offensively. And that's the part that is disappointing, because these guys were ready to go, and to have the lack of execution like we did early in the football game just kind of snowballed from there.
Doug, last year against Detroit, this year against Houston, you guys had similar games, bounce back, played your best football of both seasons. Why were they able to do that, and do you think that's in them to do this now?
I mean, I don't know. We obviously got to look at ourselves in the mirror and figure some things out, and especially here at home. 3 or 4 games that are not very good, and I guess the beauty of everything is we still sit in the driver's seat. We're 6-3, and still a lot of football ahead, and great opportunity. This was definitely a humbling experience today.
Offensively, Doug, do you think it was a matter of Trevor rushing things, the protection not being there? Was there anything you could really pinpoint as to why it never got into that flow on offense?
Yeah, possibly just maybe, speeding some things up in his mind. Obviously when we fail to execute even around him, right? There's problems there. On plays that we should know. We run them all the time, and then you can't put yourself in the third downs like we did, and or turn the ball over like we did, and expect to do anything with it. And it just, you put your defense in a bind, you put special teams in a bind, and that's the disappointing part.
And then just a quick health update, if I could, just on Agnew and then Tyson.
Yeah, I talked to Ferg. We're going to get further testing in the morning and see where they're at. So hopefully we have a better answer for you tomorrow.
Doug, you touched on San Francisco being ready out of the box. How much of that do you discount in terms of your performance, in terms of they had lost 3 in a row, they had been itching to get back on the field and show that they were the Super Bowl contenders, blah, blah, blah?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably something to that. And obviously we had some momentum as well, and it's disappointing to play like we did, but I'm sure, for them, I'm sure the message was pretty simple. We have to play better, on their side, I'm assuming, and They did. They played an outstanding football game, and they got after us today. And we got to look at this film and make corrections.
Doug, if the word was right that was a desperate football team, do you want your team to react with a sense of desperation this week? And do you think that helps a team get sharp for a game like that?
I don't think they're a desperate football team. Don't get me wrong. They're not. It's a good football team. Yeah. So I don't think it's desperation. They know what they're doing, right? And they did it well today. For us, we're still trying to get there. And I told the team, again, we haven't done anything here. And we're trying to be like that. We're trying to have that consistency. And to me, this will be in some ways good for our players. A little bit of a wake-up call, quite honestly. And, myself included, coaches, players, we all have to, what are we willing to give up in these next 8 games so we don't do this again, right? And I think our players will rebound. They always have. And, look forward to next week.
Doug, some of the stuff you talked about today, red zone turnovers and some other issues have sort of been around all year. Is there a feeling of why can't we get this fixed? It should be fixed by this point?
It's obviously turnovers can't happen. They just flat out can't happen. And we gave them 3 of them today, and you just can't. Huh?
4.
Was it 4?
2 interceptions, 2 fumbles.
Yeah, that's right. Two interceptions. You can't do that. You just can't do that. It's a matter of whoever has the football, take care of the football. That's your job. Bring it back to the huddle. Let us play another down. And we continue to stress it. Our players continue to stress it. And until we, until we figure that out, it's long. You just can't do that. Again, if you want to be a playoff team, you got to take care of the football.
You kind of alluded to a little bit there, both with that answer and the home game situation. You've had 2 real statement games as far as the national perspective goes at home here against Kansas City, and today you haven't scored a touchdown in either of them. Is the offense maybe sort of gripping the club a little bit too tight, trying to swing too hard maybe, as it were, to use a golf analogy, trying too hard to make a play instead of just taking what's there? I mean, look at Christian Kirk kind of fighting for that extra yard at the 6-yard line when he's not going to get in. Trevor firing a fastball to Tank as a couple of examples.
And I don't think Christian was fighting. I think he was held up, and I think the ball got punched out. I don't think it was necessarily him fighting for extra yards. But again, those are plays that we want to hang on to the football. Sometimes you're asking questions that are really hard to answer because the team's ready to go. They have a good week of preparation. Why we go out like that? I mean, nobody wants to go out and coach that way. Nobody wants to go out and play that way. Nobody wants to go out and lose that way. We have too much pride, and these are great opportunities for me to coach this football team and to lead this football team and to instruct this football team. And until we've got some young guys that are learning this for the first time, and kind of going through a little adversity. And again, we're trying to put ourselves in positions to be a better football team in the AFC, and sometimes it looks brilliant, and then there's days like today, not so good. And those are the things that each person has to look at themselves and say, what am I studying enough? As coaches, are we putting our players in better positions to be successful? Are the players, doing what they need to do? Coaches doing what they need to do? So it's a group effort. There's enough, enough stuff to go around. I don't want to call it blame, but it's everybody doing their job, right? And I know this football team, and I know they'll come back Wednesday, when we get ready for Tennessee, and they'll be focused and ready to go.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
All right, you just heard Doug Pederson. Interesting comments. I thought the one thing that I took away from it is he almost was like, look, I tried to tell this team. I tried to tell the guys, we haven't accomplished anything yet. And he didn't want them getting fat and happy, and it seemed like they got a little fat and happy, quite frankly, right? I mean, think about it. They're 6-2. Everybody's patting them on the back in Jacksonville. Everybody's telling them, hey, Vegas bound, baby. We're going to the bowl, right? Long way to go. A lot of games left to be played. We had 9 games left. Now we have 8 games left this season. That's a lot of football still to be played. And he said, I told him we haven't accomplished anything yet. Well, his point was proven today. So, wake-up call, maybe. I mean, again, you win 5 games in a row. Human nature is you're feeling pretty good about yourself. I get it. But did not look ready to play. He talked about the first drive by the offense and the first drive of the defense and lack of execution by both. And there certainly was on both of those drives. No specific updates on the health of Tyson Campbell, but if he redid his hamstring, he could be out for a long time, as in like the rest of the year. Maybe we'll see him back in the playoffs. I don't know. And Agnew looked like he was walking around on the sideline, so hopefully nothing too severe, but we'll find out more about those two gentlemen tomorrow. Tough questions. They have played terribly here at the bank. I was reminded in listening that they have not done well here at all offensively. They cannot score points here at home. And, man, what a great opportunity in front of the fans, and it's just not happening. So Josh Allen on the defensive side of the ball. No sacks today for JA41. Brent caught up with the Jaguars' defensive leader after the game.
Man, first and foremost, man, I want to, give my condolences to DJ Hayden's family. First and foremost, tragedy that happened to him. We hate to see it, so I want to give my condolences to his family, first and foremost. Second of all, on your question, we gotta go back to work. If you banged up, get your treatment. If you felt like you did bad, get better. If you feel like you did good, keep improving. And that's how you get better.
Do you just chalk this up? Is this just one of these days where just nothing went right from the very first series onward? It just didn't seem like you guys could get anything going.
We definitely had our ebbs and flows of the game to where we could have, took advantage on some of the momentum that was happening, because I did feel a swing happening throughout the game. So I'm not going to say it was just all of them. We had our moments. We just didn't capitalize on those opportunities. So that's one thing that we need to get better in. But they started off fast. They started off with their scripted plays, came down the field, scored. Okay, next series, 3 points, no more. And then that's when, we had to stop them on first down. Got a good play, second and long, got off the field. So it was a flow of the game, and we just couldn't catch the rhythm. And so that's what we need to do better. And as a team, we need to do better taking the ball away. Obviously, that's our motto. And, obviously, I tell you every time when we win a game, it's stop the run, pressure the quarterback, create takeaways. We didn't stop the run good enough. We didn't pressure I think we got pretty good hits, but no sacks on the quarterback. And then we didn't take the ball away. So, when we sum it up to what we do best, then we didn't do any of those. So we lost the game.
How good are they on first down? They were good numbers-wise today, but just schematically and what they try to do.
Number-wise, I don't know what they...
It was good. It was like 7 or 8 yards of play on first down. So.
Was it? Damn. I don't know. We got to go back and see how they were beating us. Obviously, we knew going into the game that they're a yak team. They're a fall forward team. They're a push the pocket type of team. So, for us, we needed to have more hats on the ball. We guess we didn't have enough.
You guys have bounced back before from some ugly performances. Obviously, you got confidence. You'll do that again.
Yeah, we definitely, definitely not worried. Definitely mad as hell. First and foremost, obviously we just played, so that those emotions are still inside of us. I think we should all be pissed. But at the end of the day, man, we have 6 more games left, 8 more games left. We got 8 more games left. And we've been in this position before. Hate to be in it, don't expect to be in it, but we're here. So we got a divisional game next week, big game against the Titans. So we got to come back and win.
Did it bother you at all that they were trying to get McCaffrey a touchdown at the end?
They're going to do what they got to do. So, obviously, we got to stop them at the end of the day. But, You know, they trying to look out for them people. And I think hopefully we would have done the same thing if we were in the opposite position. So it is what it is, football. You just don't want to score.
Josh, how do you differentiate between it's a week-to-week league? I mean, the Cowboys lost to the Cardinals earlier this year versus, hey, maybe there was actually something wrong that we need to fix.
Like I said earlier, I think the flow of the game was just not into our favor. I think, you know, they scored early. You know, they had their scripted plays, got down the field. All right, they're going to come back and do the same thing. Came back, scored 3. I think we probably had a turnover in one of those series. So it was just, you know, we had to catch that wave. And like I said earlier, I don't think we caught it. So we had to do better with that and take advantage of those opportunities.
I think probably the one maybe get a parallel to this was that Lions game last year. What was the message after that? Maybe can you apply that this go around? I
mean, you know, last year was last year. The Lions game, this is the Lions game. So this game was definitely huge. We wanted to win this game. Like this was a playoff game for us, and we got embarrassed. So we should all be embarrassed, but we should all be ready to go back to work. We should be excited to come back to work on Monday. You know, clear as film. Nobody's head should be down. You know, I know there was areas in the game where I could have played a lot better, or a lot of opportunities where I could have strained a little bit harder. So it's not, you know, it's really on everybody. But, you know, if we come back to work, because I know I'm going to be ready to go next week, you know, and, you know, get ready to go.
So I can go back to DJ. What do you remember fondly about him?
A locker room presence. You know, he was a quiet guy in a sense, but when you got to know him, you knew him. He was a great person to be around, great vet, especially when I came in. You know, his story, his life on how he even got to play in the National League is crazy. It's remarkable. But, you know, sad news, condolences to his family. And, you know, I want to play for him. And I want to play for him, for his family.
Yeah, we lost DJ Hayden, former Jaguar corner, in a tragic car accident in Houston overnight. 6 people were killed, including Hayden, who was a passenger in the car that somebody ran a red light and just demolished their car. So just an awful story. But DJ Hayden was a great story. He was a first-round pick of the Raiders. He had heart problems at Houston, overcame that, played in the league a few years, was a good football player for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I know they honored him and had a moment of silence for him here today. And Josh talking about his former teammate. So certainly thoughts and prayers with that family. Just and all those families. I mean, 6 different people tragically dead because somebody ran a red light. I'm not 100% certain on that. So back to the game for a second. Jaguars end up losing. That was Josh Allen. You heard what he had to talk about. Got to go back to work. And that's the general message. Again, they had won 5 in a row. So all is not lost. But it was such a stinker of a performance. It kind of cuts to your core and shakes you up and makes you wonder. Cam Robinson also talking after the game with Brent. Let's hear what the Jaguars left tackle had to say about the battles in the trenches.
I was going to say, how fine is the line to looking really bad when you don't do some of those things?
It's a thin line. I mean, I think it's just simple. I don't want to overthink it. I don't want to overcomplicate it. We came out, we were out-executed, and we got to do a better job of taking care of the ball, and we got to do a better job with the details. So.
How did you think Walker did playing?
I think he did fine. Walker will be fine. The more he plays at that position, the more reps he get. Walker's a hell of a player. He'll be fine, and just give it time. Just give it reps. We'll gel and we'll be fine.
I was going to say, it's just going to be a little patient with that.
Absolutely. Specifically when you're dealing with the O-line, I mean, it's just different because if you're a receiver, you just go make a play. If you're a running back, you just go make it. But we all have to be in sync. Like, we're all literally one person. So, yeah, he'll be fine. We'll get reps. We'll get better, and we'll be fine.
How mentally prepared, I guess, tough, or is this locker room mature to handle a tough performance like this? Because you have bounced back pretty nicely from a couple others.
Yeah, I think that just kind of speaks to the leadership we got in this locker room. Speaks to the type of men we got in this locker room. We're able to own it when we come out and we get outplayed and we get beat. We got beat. We got outplayed, and we own that. We just get better from it.
If you don't mind me asking, DJ Hayden, what are your thoughts about him as a teammate?
A great person. Football. I don't care about football. Nobody care about. DJ was a good person, like a good human being. So thoughts and prayers with his family. my condolences, and just that's tough.
Yeah, another former teammate, Cam Robinson. So sadness in the Jags locker room for some of those guys. Guys who've been here for 4 or 5 years, who played with DJ. So certainly thinking about him and his family. All right, so the Jaguars, man, you want to forget this one fast. You want to get back on the field as soon as possible. The bye week was unkind to the Jaguars. That's for certain, especially the way they played today. 34-3 to the San Francisco 49ers, who came in here angry and handed the Jaguars a, excuse the language, ass whooping. And so it's back to work now for the Jaguars. The Titans come to town, doubly important. Haven't played well here at home. Offense has been putrid here at home. Hopefully they can figure some things out and they can get back to their winning ways next week. They need to, because Houston is on the come. They're right behind the Jaguars in the AFC South. That'll do it for the postgame. We'll have more for you coming up tonight on Action Sports Jax Prime Time. We do it at 10:30 on Fox 30, 11:30 on CBS 47. Jags Report Live coming up tomorrow. Rayshon Jenkins scheduled to appear on that program, coming out to Sneakers and join us. It might be a little bit more subdued, but that's okay. We'll have a good time anyway, and we'll break it all down. We'll figure it out. And we'll develop a plan for the Jags going forward and get them back to their winning ways. That'll do it from here at the bank. I'm Dan Hicken. Thanks for hanging out with us on the postgame show. We'll see you coming up tonight on Prime Time.
Jags Nation, thanks for watching the Action Sports Jax postgame show. Sponsored by Farah & Farah, the exclusive injury law firm of the Jaguars.